Greetings, I'm Barrett and welcome to Meet Me at the Table. Today we're going to be doing a playthrough of It's a Wonderful World featuring the Leisure and Decadence expansion. This is the second campaign expansion for It's a Wonderful World on top of all the other things that normally would come with this game. Full disclosure, the second expansion was sent to us by the company, so I'm excited to open this up and do a playthrough of at least the first campaign and explain a little bit about what goes on inside of this expansion. The game and everything else you see though was part of the original Kickstarter, or even could be stuff that was purchased alongside and through a third party. So if you see things you're not exactly sure are not why you don't have them in your game, that is probably why. I would like to thank Colin over at the One Stop Co-op Shop for giving me his copy of It's a Wonderful World to be able to do this playthrough. We have been playing this game together with our gaming group for a while now. We've had an absolute blast, and when I found out I could get a copy of this extra expansion, I was super excited to do this playthrough so everybody else could experience the fun and excitement we have had over the last few weeks and months, I guess, playing this game through all the different campaigns and just playing the game in general. It's super fun. In case you've never seen It's a Wonderful World, you can check out Mike's playthrough over at the One Stop Co-op Shop. He goes through the normal play of a single solo adventure of it. Or if you want to see how the campaign works, you can play through or see it play through over on Meeple Marathon. Ryan did that. He did I believe, a scenario out of It's a Wonderful World, the original core box. Because each one of the expansions for It's a Wonderful World either comes with a campaign expansion you can do, or it has some campaigns built into it. For example, if we look at this rulebook, in the back, it shows some of the neat little scenarios that you can do as solo scenarios. And you get different cards that you have to be able to construct by the end. And if you're not able to, then you've failed the scenario. But the campaigns itself actually continue forward with potentially some bad or worse cards that aren't going to be able to help you through the rest of the campaign, or it might even give you some better cards as you continue through the campaign. And if you do fail too many of the campaign expansion contents, you're going to have to restart, which is kind of cool. So it gives you this push to want to make sure you can get the points you want. And of course, the points you want are going to be determined technically by your own skill. There are rules for how to do this solo in here, and it has to do with trying to get a certain amount of points. And once you do, then you would go on to the next campaign box. And each one of these boxes is going to have cards in it that are going to expand how the game plays. And of course, you can use all of this not only as a solo experience, but it can be played with up to, well, for this particular campaign, up to 5 players, which we were able to play through, and it was a ton of fun. So if you're excited to see It's a Wonderful World showcasing the Leisure and Decadence campaign, then I need you to meet me at the table. Before we begin, I quickly want to go over a few of the rules that are going to go with this particular scenario, or I shouldn't say scenario, of this campaign. The first thing it tells us is there are 6 different scenarios that are going to be part of this, and we're going to be playing with our Empire Side B. For those of you that don't know, each of you are going to gain an Empire, and based on whether or not you've played the game or you're trying to introduce the game to people, they recommend starting on the A side. But for this particular campaign, they're hoping that you've at least played a lot of the base game, or you've even played through the first campaign called War and Peace. And if that's the case, the B side is what you should normally play the game on. It starts everybody at the same ground floor, gaining these particular resources without having an advantage, because each one of them is going to have a little bit different way of playing the game when you play with the B side, or A side, I apologize. So we'll be playing with the B side for this particular person. And like I said, all the others are exactly the same, so you can take any one you want, but we're just going to play with this one because it's the one I found on top. Now, as we play through the campaign, it's comprised of 6 scenarios. We'll only play 5 because there potentially is a branch in this particular campaign that you're going to have to follow as you play through it. Now, for this playthrough, I'm only going to play the first scenario because I don't want to spoil so much, because there's only 6 scenarios and you're only actually playing 5 of them. Now, as we're playing the campaign, we're going to be opening particular boxes, and we're going to make sure we only open the boxes that are going to be for the campaigns that we're going to be playing. And even starting with the first scenario, we're only going to read potential endgame things that correspond with the way that our particular campaign ended. Now, unless there's something different from the way the game is played, victory conditions are always going to be the same as a normal game. You must earn the most victory points. This is a victory point game. And when it comes to playing solo, the victory points you need to earn are based on how hard you want the game to be. Easy, medium, or hard. It depends on what you feel you're able to do. And that's shown on the back here of the card. For example, we could play on the normal needing 50, difficult 60, expert, we could go 70, or if we think we're really, really good, we can go 80. And we have to choose the difficulty at the beginning of the campaign, and we have to keep it like that for the entire campaign. Of course, this is your game. You are playing solo. You could really do whatever you want, but that is the recommended thing that you decide for the actual game. It does say when you reach the target score difficulty, you are the winner of the scenario, and for when it comes to reward purposes. Now, if you don't reach that, you're going to take a defeat card in addition to any rewards before continuing the next scenario. And if you fail the final scenario, you take a defeat card and try it again. And if you fail the second time, and you lose a third time, you'll have lost and begin the campaign again, which I think is a pretty cool system. So you're not always guaranteed a end to this game. You might have to try it again. Of course, we're not going to lose. We are the best gamers ever. If you believe that, I've got an eye on the Pacific I'll sell you for $1. All right, let's see what else we have to do to get our game all set up. Now, most of the rules on this side are going to be set more for the multiplayer, and the ones I show on the backside are the ones for the solo. But a lot of this could still pertain to the way the solo works. Like, as you play through it, you're going to keep the campaign cards that you earn through the scenario, which are going to be victory, or they're going to adjust the way the game is played and how it actually unfolds around you. We're going to be playing with the base game that is part of the Kickstarter. So any cards you see may be from the Kickstarter, or they might just be from the base game. So like I said at the beginning, if you see something out here you don't recognize from your base game, it might be from the Kickstarter, or it might be something that was picked up outside of the Kickstarter through a third-party market. Like, I believe these are third-party. I could be wrong, but a lot of the cubes and everything here you see and the little cups that are part of it are all part of this big box that came with the original Kickstarter. Now, of course, I could be wrong about that, but if I am, please let me know in the comment section below. And as we're replaying through this and recording it, if you see any errors that I made that I noticed as I was doing the editing process, you'll find those in a pinned comment. And please, if you see any errors, please let me know so that I can put those also in the pinned comment so people seeing this can understand and learn how to play this game. The basis of It's a Wonderful World is a card drafting game, and here's our deck of cards. And this cards are a huge stack of cards. This consists of a core box. It also consists with the scenarios for War and Peace. Those cards are also in here, and it also is going to be including the other campaign, or I should say expansion, I'm sorry, that is called Corruption and Ascension. And that's these cards right here are going to be part of it as well. We're going to see so many cool cards, and we are going to have an absolute blast doing this. As you see out here are different resources we're going to be using to be able to build some of the cards we have, and these are going to be some of the extra tokens that we're going to be grabbing as well. So a lot of the stuff you see here is all from the scenario, the campaigns, or the Kickstarter campaign, and any of the expansions that have happened previously to Leisure and Decadence. Now let's move to what is part of the Leisure and Decadence expansion. The first thing you're see is a whole board attached to the end of the track where you gain all of your resources. This is going to be the culture track. The culture track is it's a new resource, but it's not one you're using to build things with like you would with some of these other particular resources. The way this particular part will work is you're going to be gaining culture, and as you continue through the game based on some of the cards that you create or draft. And like I said, this isn't a normal resource. As you gain this, you're going to be moving this up the track. And once it gets up here and it comes back down, you're going to gain one of these tokens, which is worth a victory point. Also, if you make it around, you're going to gain one of these, which is going to multiply the amount of points that you get from each of these by 1, up to a maximum of 4. You can only ever have 4 of these at any one time. But of course, you can have as many of these as you can get your hands on if you're really lucky. So it's another element to the game that encourages and gives you a chance of gaining more victory points, a different path you could even go down or add to some of the ones you're doing already. On top of that, over here, it's just showing you at the end that you might have things that create these particular characters that you're just going to then gain as rewards. It'll be one of the last steps you do in the production, or you can even produce what is called Crystallium at the end. Crystallium is a red resource. This is a rare, or not a rare resource, it's a wild resource in the game, and you'll see how it works when I do the playthrough. On top of that, this game now comes with 35 new cards that are added from this expansion, and most of them are going to have to deal with the culture that you have down here. As you can see, each of them are either going to give you a one of the tokens, or it's going to increase your culture when it comes to the end of the turn for a resource. Instead, this will give you 1 gray and a culture, so you'll go up 1 on the track. And most of these cards, if not all of them, are going to do that particular thing. And you're going to add these to that giant stack. Now, I know the stack is really big, and we've added a lot to it, so we might not see every card in this deck, but I'm hoping we can get a few of these just to show how that all works. Also in the envelope is going to be a rule sheet for this particular round of the campaign. And on that campaign, it gives a little blurb, kind of a little bit of a story to how this is all unfolding. After all, it is a campaign. You have to have some kind of story to go along with it. It says here, history, obsessed with productivism, the empires neglected to devote energy and time to intellectual pursuits. But in any society, you will find creative people. And since time immemorial, artists have also been engines to that power empires. And so peace has returned to the world, at least in appearance. At the heart of each empire, creative minds start to put things together, a little of this, a little of that, to create what will soon be called art. From that moment forward, each empire faces a crucial choice. Hand over the reins to culture or stay the course of productivism. Along with the 35 cards that we got to put into our deck, we also are each going to be given one of these cultural production cards. And as you can see, each resource is listed on this card. And we're also supposed to put a Crystallium cube right here. If we are ever able to produce this card during the game, we would remove all of the resources from it and move this cube down. As we go, we're going to be gaining different powers or different bonuses for being able to move this cube, and the final one being 15 points. But as you can see here, we're also going to get 2 recycling bonus, supremacy gain. We're going to calculate supremacy bonus +2. It's going to be good for us to be able to maybe do this because, like I said, the end is at least 15 points. Now, during the solo play, I believe the first one isn't going to be the best for us because we calculate supremacy a little bit differently, but maybe it'll still work out. And if you're playing against a whole bunch of people competitively, this card can really help you ramp up some of the supremacy early in the game. Also, we have those cards that we do not want to see. Those are those fail cards. There are also a couple of those in that side of that envelope. I've put our cultural production and our empire card right next to each other. We're all set to start. Let's get our cards ready to go. Normally when you play this game, you'll draw out a set of cards of each of these from each stack based on your player count to every person, and then you would go around and draft these until you're left with just one, and then that would be discarded. You would then have to deal with those during the planning phase. Now for the solo game, you're actually going to be doing 2 different, potentially, I guess you call them draft rounds. You're going to grab 5 cards, and then you're going to deal with those 5 cards. Once those 5 cards are done, you'll grab the other set of 5 cards, and once that's done, then you'll go to the production, which is all down here. For our first round, we're going to take the cards we need from both stacks here. And when we play solo, we're going to take 3 from this stack, and we're going to take 2 from this stack for one of our 5 sets of cards. Then again, we're going to do the same thing, 3 again from this stack and 2 from this stack. And these will create our sets of cards that we're going to be using each round to try to get to the point total that we need. So I'm going to build out 4 sets of these particular cards because we have 4 rounds in order to reach the number that we're hoping to reach. And I may be signaling my own death now here, but I think we're going to play at least on difficult. Oh, I kind of wonder if I should go expert on this and really give myself a challenge. You know, I've never won this game before, so we're going to go with difficult because I think I can hopefully get to that point in solo. Now, when I've played with anybody else, I've never won the game. I've almost always come in second place. Never won, but that's okay. It's been a blast every time you play. That's the cool thing about this game is no matter what place you come in, every person I've played with always has a blast just going through the motions of creating their empire and building up all these points and all this fun stuff. It's super fun, but we're going to go with difficult. Let's see if we can get 60 points. At this point, we'll take our first set of cards. They're going to be right here. And the way this game is played is first you're going to do like a drafting order. But since we're doing solo, there is no drafting. Normally, you would get a hand of cards. You'd take one and then you'd pass it to the left. And the second turn, you'd pass it to the right with this handy dandy marker to teach you that. Left and right for rounds 3 and 4. And once that's done, that is the end of the game. You total up your score and see how you did against the other players. But in the solo version, we are going to take a set of 5 cards and do these 5 cards first. Once that's done, we're going to do another set of 5 cards. After that is done, then we're going to score our production. And I do want to mention that these cards are dual-sided, but you do play on the other side. This is the A side. The A side is more for learning the game and giving it usually gives a person a direction in which way to go when it comes to drafting certain cards. You can see this person's going to be able to start scoring based on financiers, which are these tokens up here. So as they're drafting cards, they might want to draft cards that are helping them in that direction. The B side is this side. It's going to have 2 white, black, and 1 green production, and that is the same on every single card. They're all the same on the B side for a reason that gives everybody a normal starting position, and there's not really any type of advantages or anything, or even telling you which way to go. You're going to have to figure it out based on your cards. So we're going to take our 5 cards, lay them out on the table, and see what we got. We have these 5 right here. And at this point, I'll give you a little bit of an anatomy of how these cards are going to work. If we look at the turbines right here, this will be a good way to do it. This shows what it's called. This is what you have to use to be able to produce this. You have to be able to get 2 white production on this card. Once that's on there, you'll be able to put it up here and you'll be able to start producing what is down here. This over here is another option in a way to use the card. You can discard this card to be able to use it for a black cube. You can just automatically gain one and put it on your card. Now, if you're ever able to put, let's say, 2 white cubes onto this card before it goes into the production of this, you're able to then have this up here ready to go for when production happens, meaning I'd be able to gain 4 white if I wanted to go in that direction. Now, there is a lot of white here, and there's only one big, huge card here. This one needs a lot of blue, and if you notice, none of these are scoring cards except for this one, and this one is going to score equal to the amount of, I believe it's military people that you have. On top of that, it'll give me a green research symbol, so I'll be able to produce 2 of these green cards, or green production. I hope that makes sense. You'll see kind of how that works as we go through the playthrough. So we have to decide if there's any of these we want to keep. And for this particular solo playthrough, you can choose what you want to keep and what you want to discard for your production. And another option you have is you can discard any 2 cards. Say I want to get rid of both of those cards. I could do that, and if I do that, I can grab another set of cards from either the deck that looks like this, or we can grab it from the other deck, and we're going to be able to decide from there what 1 card we want, and we discard the rest. The number of cards you're able to pull from based on the 2 that you discard is going to be whether or not you're using the It's a Wonderful World base game cards, which you're able to gain 5 of those, or you can use the Corruption one where you're only going to be able to gain 3 of those, and again, choose one and discard it. There are some great options here, and this is one of my favorite cards to get out right away because it gives me a lot of production, so I think we're going to be able to play this card, so I'm going to have that one out to be playable. Now I have to decide if I want to try to get that card going right away, and I think I am going to discard this card for the 1 production that I can get for it. So I'm going to put that right here. I'm going to grab one of the cubes that is equal to the color here, and then I'm going to place it down on my card. At this point now I have to decide what I want to do about those cards. Since I have potentially a lot of white production coming at me, I'm going to put the Armored Convoy out. I know it's going to get rid of a white production, but the gold production might be able to do is going to be pretty good. Now, if I have 2 cards left, at this point I can discard these if I want to gain 5 from the main deck or 3 from the Corruption deck. This is a tough choice. Okay, I think what we're going to do, I have a plan. I'm going to get rid of this card to be able to grab a black production cube, and I'm going to put that here. So now when we go to produce, I've got my 2 gray that I can place out here. And that's going to happen as long as this one does not get put up here before the gray is in production. I will be able to ignore that one, because the order of which things are producing me gray, black, green, yellow, and blue. So if I can put my gray out first, then this card gets made. When it gets to the gold production, I'll be able to do that without taking the penalty of losing that 1 gray cube. Of course, it's only going to last 1 turn because then the rest of the time it'll be in production. And for this one, I am also going to discard this for a green cube. Now, I don't have any place to place the green cube, so it would go into this area here. And if you ever get 5 cubes in this area, you can remove them all to gain 1 Crystallium, which is a wild cube. But since we're playing with the cultural production over here, I can just place that cube right over here on there, and we've already got 1 of the 5 cubes we need to help start moving this up the board. Now, if we can get this to the end, I'm going to gain 15 experience points. And also, you're going to gain the extra stuff as you go forward. Now, the first first one I don't believe really helps us that much. It's going to help calculate supremacy bonus. That is determined during a co-op competitive game. Whoever has the most of each color as they're being produced is going to be able to gain a small advantage, either a financier or a military personnel. But since we are playing solo, that's not going to happen. The supremacy gain, though, means I'd be able to gain 2 of each of these, which is actually going to be pretty good. And the recycling bonus, whenever I put a cube in here, I'd actually be putting 2 into this area, being able to recycle them to get myself closer to one of these crystalliums. And of course, we get to the end, we get 15 points. Actually, I believe the recycling bonus means I'm going to be gaining 2 crystallium when I take the 5 and with them off. If I'm wrong about that, please let me know in the comments below. Also, if I do make any errors or have noticed something after production of this video, please check the pinned comments of this video and you'll be able to see those corrections. That's the first set of 5 cards. Let's go to our next set of 5 cards and see what we get. We've got the Arcane, we got a lot of white production here. Arcane School, which is absolutely awesome. I don't see why I'm doing it. This card is one of my favorite cards. Look at this. This is awesome. Also, another thing I didn't mention is this number up here equals how many of them are in this deck. So, for example, this one right here, this recycling center, as you can see, there's 7 in here. So finding 2 of them isn't too tough. There's 6 of these industrial complexes. There are 3 of each of these cult districts. I got 2 of them. That's pretty awesome. Actually, I think I'm going to discard both those. Now, I could make these, but if I make these, look at this. I will get a crystallium automatically. Then I will be able to gain 1 white production, which would counter off that one. The problem is I will be removing any science I'm getting. And I only get 1 right now. And at this time, I don't actually need any science, but I still haven't really found any cards that are giving me any points, except for that one that I decided to discard. Oh, I was really hoping for a card that can give me some points so I'd kind of have a direction as to which way I'm going. Making white and gold already, I think that's kind of going to be the direction we're going to move. There's different like groupings of colors that kind of work together, and I believe white and gold is one of them, and blue and I think blue is another one, and you'll see, and black is another. Blue and black go together quite a bit, and green kind of helps a little bit. Though with the addition of this particular system, they've added a lot of cards that pretty much mix all the different colors together, giving you at least some kind of way of scoring from all different types of colors. Wow, there's a lot of white production. I can almost produce everything I have out there right now. Having 2 recycling plants probably isn't going to be that great of a plan, so I am going to discard one of those to create a white cube, and that is going to mean that this has been created and is able to go right here. So when we get to the production phase, which will happen after our 2 sets of 5 cards, we'll be able to create 4 white cubes that we can use. Speaking of, so now we have to figure out a place to put those. So I think this is going to go up here, which we now can place those 4 white cubes. It's something I always kind of try to figure out as I'm working. I don't really want to just get rid of cards because they're not going to help me. Now this, of course, I have to make that because that's just awesome. Now, is it good for me? Probably not, because it's going to get rid of my science. And I was thinking about making an occult district because that would get rid of that would help me with science too. I think we might just be discarding this for a blue cube that we can place here for now. And I think what we're going to do is we're going to discard this to gain a gray cube, which I'm actually going to play on this occult district, placing it here. Once it's placed there, I do get the bonus of 1 crystallium that I can place on this card. Now, crystallium can be used almost at any time in the game. There's almost no restrictions as to when you can place this red cube when I want to. That's going to be the end of my 2nd set of cards. So now let's go through the production part. So like I said previously, we're going to go from left to right and start producing things. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to start with our gray. We're producing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 gray, which I kind of accidentally messed up already. But we got 1, 2, 3 cubes I'm going to place here. A 4th one is going to be placed here. And now I don't have a place for the 5th cube. So I'm actually just going to place it on my cultural production. And let's see what is next after the black cubes are gray cubes, I apologize, are done. We're going to go to the black cubes. So the black cubes, I'm just going to create this industrial complex for now. We're going to place this right here. The reason I did that is I really don't have any place to put the extra gold right now, which is going to be just fine. Once that is done, we are going to move to the green. Now, right now I have 1 green I'm able to produce, but I also have that negative green, so I'm producing no green, and that's fine. I don't have a place for it. Now, when it comes to gold, I do get to produce 1 gold. So I'm going to take the gold. I'm actually going to put it right here on the cultural production thing. Going to blue, I don't have any blue production. That's it. And I'm not producing any red cubes, nor am I producing any of the production over here, which is so sad because That's kind of what I want to be doing. With that done, we're going to move into round 2. Moving into the second round, we'll take our next set of cards and put them out and see what we get. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Let's see. Wow, we got a giant robot. That's awesome. Okay, let's... So here's a shopping mall. This one does have one of those productions that we just got from this expansion, so we kind of need to see if we can get that going. But remember, right now I'm making pretty much gray and gold is what I'm making. So gray and gold right here can make a couple science, and I would get 1 point for every green card. Well, I don't have any green cards out here, so I'm not sure how good that is going to be. We have an Inquisitors here. That Inquisitors could give me a gold and a blue, but again, I'm losing my science. Maybe not having any science, that might not be the end of the world. I can maybe use Crystallium to work on any science I might need, because look at this giant robot. For every white and black card, I'm going to be able to gain 6 points, which would be absolutely amazing. Now, funny enough, though, I was kind of going towards gold, but I don't, again, see too much gold out here that's going to help. Unless, again, I could go with the Secret Lab, which gives me 1 point. This one gives me 1 point. And for getting 2 of these guys, there's a lot. Or I could just remove some of these cards and potentially gain some new ones. Here's what I think we're going to do. We're going to try to produce this, because remember, I'm making a lot of white. So I think we're going to use this one, because this will start giving me, again, more gold and even help me with my pink production. And I think this is going to be kind of odd, I think. I'm going to move this card because I don't need to worry about that card right now. I'm going to keep all that stuff with it, though. I'm going to try to create both of these. Again, I'm going to be starting to produce a lot of gold, and I'm going to discard both of these, even though this is a huge point card, but that's not really the route we're going. I'm going to try to make these. If I can get this built, that means I'm going to start getting 2 of these each turn, which would be really good because they're each worth 1 point. And there are some cards in here that maybe will be able to give us multipliers on that particular point system. Another thing I did that I need to make sure I understand, remember to tell you, is 2, 4, 5, 6. I'm creating 6 white. Now, when we actually did this, this card was not built. I only was making 5. But every time you're able to make 5 of a certain resource, you're able to gain the supremacy bonus, which means in a normal 2-player or more game, the person with the most is able to get a resource of that particular type. And these financiers go with the gray production, and they also go with the gold production, where the military ones go with the black production and they go with the blue production. And if you get the most in green, you can choose which one you want. But since we're playing solo, if you're able to produce 4 of that particular resource, you gain the supremacy bonus. So I should have gotten 1 of these financiers, which is another thing that's interesting about this card, is it's not helping because I don't, the black cards are what give me these kind of things. But that's okay. We're going to try to make this. Okay, so we have those cards. Now I do get to grab either 5 from the original deck, or I can grab 3 from the corruption deck. And we're going to take them from the top of this. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Let's see what 5 cards we got. Now I can choose one of these and ditch the other ones. Okay, let's see here. We've got, well, another shopping mall. I don't really need that. We've got a PAX 10, which is a lot of gold. That'll get me some of these guys coming in, and they're going to be 1. Now, this one is interesting. It's giving me 2 points, but I get gold production for every white thing I have out here. That might not be a bad thing. Now, remember, the green here I don't make, so I'm going to have to be using Crystallium for that, which is another reason I need to get some Crystallium, I think. But also, we need this blue as well, somehow. Wow, again, so many awesome possibilities. We can start deducing these. I know I'm not going to keep these 2 cards. There's no reason to do that. So it's about which one of these do I want to try to keep. I'm going to have gold coming around like hotcakes here pretty soon. And I think that's going to be the way to go. Now, this could make me 2 of... I wish I could keep both of these. That would be awesome. But I can't do it. This virtual reality card is not going to help me. I'm not producing enough green. Eventually, I will get at least 1 green going, which will help a little bit. And I would be getting 1 point for every green card I make. But that's really not, I think, the reason I'm doing this. I want that Crystallium, and I like having gold cards. There's also cards out there that score you based on your gold cards. But I'm not seeing any of those either, which is kind of funny. I think that's going to be it for this. Oh my gosh, torn I am. I think I'll go with the PAX 10. We're going to try to create that card. As you are watching this, you're probably all screaming at the TV, computer screens or whatever you're watching on, telling me how to play this game, because I'm not very good at it. But we got those cards out there. That is it for the first round. Now, another thing I did miss that people are probably noticing is this symbol right here. When I made this card, I'm able to gain one of those financiers, just like I was able to gain this Crystallium when this was made. So I'm going to put that financier right next to my other one. That gives me 2. We're at 2 financiers. That's awesome. Let's see what our next set of cards are going to be. We have the Inquisitors, Border Patrol, Submarine, and a Research Facility. We are expanding. I am going to see what we can do here with the cards we have. Here is one card we need to try to make by the end of the game. It's going to double the amount I get from these particular people right there. So we are going to try to make this card. I'm going to put this up here with the rest of our cards. I know I kind of keep on expanding here. Now, does this mean we get them all made? Well, we'll see how it goes here. We'll try to do our best. We also have other cards I could get rid of that might help. This Research Center would really help because now I need some green to be able to get that going. So I think we're going to make the Research Center as well. This I'm going to discard to get my blue cube I need for this headquarters right there. And then what else do I need? I think we're going to then remove both of these and try to dig for something that could potentially help us. I'm going to discard both of those cards. Now, if I was smart, I would have done that before I discarded for this blue cube, because maybe there's something I'm going to get that blue cube may have been, that card that gave me the blue cube might be important to have. Since we drew from the original deck, I'm going to draw 3 from this deck this time and see what we get. We've got the Floating Palace, Secret Brace, and the Intercontinental Network. Funny enough, this helps with black, so that's not going to help me because I'm not really making any black things right now. The Secret Base gets rid of a black and gives me 3 blue. I'm not really sure if that's going to help us at all. Nice to get some blue. Look at this card. I would get 6 points for every blue and financier I have. Now, of course, it has to be both. I have to have that tie together, but I don't have anything out there like that. None of these are going to help me. Not a single one of these. So I think I'm just going to discard one of these to get me a color that I might need. May it be gray or black. I'm going to get rid of this one for a black cube. And the cube, I'm going to place it right here on the Research Center. And that'll be it. These 2 are going to be discarded. Now that those 2 are done, we're going to move into production. I still am not making any points over here, so we got to work on that. I'm going to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 white cubes, which does give me a financier. And we'll place our 6 white cubes down in hopefully some good spots that'll help us out. We'll place 3 on the shopping mall, 3 on the Research Center, and we'll place 1 on the secret laboratory or laboratory there. Next, we'll move into black production. I only have 1 black production, but that's going to be, oh, this Research Center is done now. We'll place it up here. And the only place I can put a black one is going to be here, or I could put it over in the culture production, but I really want this to get going. I want more gold production. I'm kind of basing this turn on a lot of gold production. I'm going to move these down a little bit so we can get some more cards up here and running. At this point, I am going to get 1, 2, 3 green gold cubes. We'll place all 3 of them on the headquarters, and that will complete the headquarters. Now, another option I have is I could put all 3 over here and use my Chrysalis to make that, or I could put 3 here and put my Chrysalis on there to complete that, or I could even put 1 there, 2 somewhere else, and then use my Chrysalis to finish it off. And actually, I think I'm going to do that. That's not a bad idea, Baron. Wow, I'm glad I thought of it. I'm going to use my Chrysalis actually on a gold cube here. Totally fine. And that's going to create both of these. And the reason I'm going to create both of these is they're both still have the ability to produce something for me. So we're going to put these over here next to the production of all the rest of this fun stuff that I have. Now, moving as fast as I'm moving, I totally forgot about my green production, which I have 1, 2, 3, minus 1 is 2. I've got 2 green production, and you're never going to guess where those go. Yes, those go right here on the secret automatons. There we go. So we still have a few cards we're working on here, and we still have our cultural production, which I need that black cube for. Maybe we'll just discard something next time for it. I do have 1 that I get to use on my cultural, so I get to move that up 1 space. When it gets to the top, it'll go back down, and I will gain 1 of these and 1 of these. And the highest amount of multipliers you can have is 4, remember? So if I can get a ton of those and those 4 multipliers, that'd be really good, but I'm not sure if it's going to happen. Finally, the last thing we're going to produce are military people, and I am producing 2 of those each turn now, along with any financiers. I'm not producing any of those, and my Chrysalis, again, not producing any of that. At this point, I think we're doing okay. I need to get some point cards, though. I really need to get this built, and this build actually, more than anything else, along with that is what we need. We'll move into our next set of cards, and these are what we got. Let's see what we can do with any of these. Hopefully something good. High society. Oh, look at this. We need this. High security prison. I'm going to get 5 points for every white and one of these. That is important. That is like priority number 1 to finish by the end of the game right now, along with this one. Those are our 2 priorities right now. This does not help me at all. I don't have anything that has to do with blue cards, so that's something we are going to be ditching. Then if we look at these, I've got this robotic animals. That's really not going to help me. A gray production, I don't need any more gray production. And another industrial complex, I don't need any of that. I've got gold production here, almost gold coming out of the wazoo right now. I don't really need too much. 1, 2, 3, 4 of it, which actually I do need more of it. But let's see here. And we also have, now I could either discard this with another card to get more cards, or I could discard it for a gold cube if I want. Here's what we're going to do. I think this is going to be best. I am going to attempt to create this. Getting me 3 gold is going to help me a lot. I'm going to discard this for the black cube that it gives me to place on that consortium. Now, sadly, I really wanted to work on my cultural production, but I just don't seem to be getting the black out here to be able to do that very well. I'm going to discard both of these, though I could use these gold resources to place on here. We'd be super close to finishing that. If we could finish this, I get a Chrysalium, which I could also use the gold card over here. Gold, gold, white, and gold. That would be really good, but I need to get another gold there. I need to get another gold before we will do it. Oh no, that's so tempting, super tempting, because I get the Chrysalium, and that would help me a lot to get the black one I need. Let's do that. We're going to discard these for gold. Normally, I wouldn't do that. Normally, I'd probably just go straight for that thing, but if I can get this done this round, there's a good chance that I can get this done to give me all this gold on these cards, which would be really good. That's the end of that round. Let's go to our next set of cards and see what we get. We've got a whole bunch of stuff. Oh, secret forces. Wow, what's that? It's going to cost me one of these. Nope, that's no good. I don't want to get rid of those guys. I need those guys. Offshore laboratory, it's going to get rid of black production, but green and gold, oh, it's a tough choice here on what we're going to do. I do know we're going to get rid of the mega drill. We do not need that, and we're going to have a gray cube to place here on the secret laboratory. Actually, no, I don't need that on the secret laboratory. I'm going to get gray, tons of gray. There's no reason to do that. I think we're going to discard this along with the secret forces. Yes, we're going to discard both of those. Oh, this one's no good either. I can discard this for a black, though. That would be huge. If we discard that black, I can put it here. That would be good. And then I would need some place to put blue. Well, blue isn't helping me here. So maybe I can get a blue card. So we're going to discard this for black because I don't need the green and gold. I'm doing okay. I've got enough green. I'm getting at least 1 green each turn, or 2 green each turn that I can slowly just use on that. I'm going to discard these 2 cards to see if I can get a card that is going to help me out. We got good cards last time from here, so let's grab 3 of these and see what we got. We have Secret Base again. We got Pandora's Box, and we've got the Artificial Intelligence. It's going to be green for every black. Nope, that ain't going to be any good. I'm not going to make this. I don't need any of that. So I think it's going to be Pandora's Box, but then again, I'm not really making any. I'm making 2 blue. It's only going to give me 1. Nope, I don't think that's any good. No, none of these cards are any good. These are all no good. But I could use the blue, or green, and none of that helps. Well, let's see here. Maybe I could make Pandora's Box by discarding this one for a blue. That wouldn't be bad. We'll make Pandora's Box, getting this for a blue, and then we'll just try to create this because I've got a lot of stuff going into this white. So I think we'll be okay. That's the end of the 3rd round. We'll go to our production now. Our first thing we're going to produce is our gray cubes, 2, 4, 5, 6 of them again, which means I am going to get a finance here. I hope I didn't miss one of those. I may have missed one, but we'll find out. I'm going to get 6. I don't think I have enough place to put any of this, but we'll see what we can do here. 1, 2, 3. We want to put it here. 3, 4, and 5, 6. Okay, we had enough to put enough of them on there. We'll move into our black cubes. We only have the 1 we get from our initial production, but that's really all we need for our consortium. Again, I apologize. I'm not even going for this cultural production, but I'm actually really worried I'm not even going to get enough points, even close to enough points, to score to actually beat the game. So we'll see how that goes. I'm going to go with our green ones next. We get 1, 2, 3 minus 1 is 2 green, which is just fine. That's going to be right here. And let's see what is next. Next is going to be our yellow. And we didn't get any of the other ones that are going to help us with yellow done, but I still get 1, 2, 3, 4 yellow. So I'm going to grab those 4. Now we're going to use 3 of them on this consortium here. So we'll put 3 of them there. So I'm just going to clear this card, and then I get to put 1 more out here somewhere. And I remember when I was really excited to get this thing built, we haven't even started it because we have one more left to do. I think we're going to work on this, getting this security agent out, or no, better yet, let's do the shopping mall. If we do the shopping mall, this hasn't been produced yet. And this isn't going to give me anything, so it's like an end game scoring card. So I want to get this done at the end. The only one I could think about doing is this one, which would get me what is this? The red cube, if I need that, which would get me this card, because I'm going to be getting 2 blue, because blue is after yellow. That might not be a bad idea either. I think it would be best to finish off another shopping mall. Let's get that shopping mall done, because that way I will get the extra added pink that we're going to go into, because after we do all these, that will be our next one. We're going to go to blue. I only have 2, and there's only one place to put it, and that's on Pandora's box. So we'll put the 2 blue right there. And in the future, I know I'm going to probably only be getting 2 more blue. I don't think I'll be making too many more blue. And this is all just giving me production, but I'm using it for the 1 point, because unless I can get a blue and discard it, none of these are even going to matter, because blue is the last thing you make in order to make this thing. And I want to get that crystallium is what I really want out of this thing. That's done. We're going to move over to this one right here. I'll move this up 1, 2, because we do have 2 pink ones here. And then we get to go to this side, which means I'm going to make 2 more of these because of this card right here. So place those there. That's 1, 2 more. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I am only going to be able to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more of these. I can only get this happening 1 more time, unless I get a card in here that's going to allow me to gain more of those. So the most we're going to be able to get is 6 from that, which is actually really good, I believe. That's it. That's another round done. We're going to be going into our 4th and final round. I forgot to move this last time, so we'll move it up to our 4th round, and we'll grab our last set of cards. Let's see what these cards have for us. We have a statue. That's kind of funny. We got Valhalla. Oh, wow. Valhalla is fantastic for us, but I don't think there's going to be any way for us to make it. Oh, no. If I could get this made, that would be absolutely bonkers, unbelievable. I would get 6 points for every yellow and person together, and I already have 2 of those, and I'm planning to make a whole bunch more, but I need to get this blue, so we have to keep this card. I don't think it's going to happen, but I really want to keep this card. That's a huge card going into it. Now this one is not going to help us at all. Look at this, 3 of this. Oh man, I wish these would have been like near the beginning, because this is the end. It's really not going to help me that much. Oh no, and I don't have any blue cards here I could discard to help this out at all, because this no longer is really a priority. I really want to get, unless I can get these 2 built, then I could get, oh, I need a crystallium for this. Look at this. I do need a crystallium for Valhalla. That's a huge Valhalla thing I need. Wow. And I get crystallium for these if I can build it, and they're going to be ones I can produce. 2 gray and a green. We're going to make this for sure, because that's something that I can make and gain a crystallium for it. Because I'm going to have green and gray I'm not going to be able to place anywhere. And I have, again, gray and green I can place places. And I just need another black, which I could discard one of these if I wanted to get that black. That will, again, get me 2 crystallium. So making those 2, that's 4 crystallium. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then the 2 blue and the 2, I think we can do this. Oh, I think we can do this. I do get, okay, I think we're good. Okay, I'm going to make both of these. I might discard both of these to give me black, because I am only making 1 black right now, which is going to be on this card. And if I can get another, but then the other one I could make this, but then I get rid of my black, but it's not going to happen, and I get a financier if I do this. Or I could maybe, no, I'm not going to have the black to make this, and I'm not going to have the blue at all. Oh, these are tough. Or do I just discard both of these and hopefully get some cards that are going to be able to be discarded to help me make something? I think we are going to discard both of these, and we're going to grab 5 of these. If anything, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Maybe there's at least a discard in here I can use that I can help myself with. Let's see what we got here. We have the transport. We have another one. Okay, these aren't helping me at all. I have a white, a green, a green, a green, and a white. Wow, I totally screwed myself up here. But maybe there's something here I can make that might help us. Like this will get us another one of those people, which isn't going to be a lot, because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I've already got 6 of these over here, and I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm going to get 2 more for 6, which I've already covered. Oh, but I'm getting more whites. Look at this. I'm getting more white cards. So maybe I can find a way to get another one of these. Maybe I can build that. I don't think I'm going to be able to, but we'll give it a shot. I'm going to discard these. Sadly, I did not get a black discard, which is what I had two, and I don't know why I didn't just use one to get the black discard onto this. I should have done that, but I did. Now we need two black discards because I'm only making one black over here. And I still haven't even worked on our cultural production yet. Oh, we're not going to finish that because, like I said, I'm kind of worried I'm not going to get the points I need. That's the first round. Let's see what now. Again, remember when I was super excited about this card? That card has now become a moot point. I don't think it's going to happen. And another thing is, I believe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I should have gotten another financier because of my yellow production over here. I forgot to take that. Remember, if you get 5 or more in a certain production, you gain a point number character, or either a financier or military person, based on which one it is. Here's our last set of cards, and we're really just kind of looking for black discards. I see 1, 2. I don't even know what these are, but I think I'm going to discard both of the black discards to be able to get the black cubes. These are the two cards I got, Luxury Clinic and Union Pacific. This is a good card if you would have gotten it near the beginning. This one is also a decent card. It's worth 3. I don't think I can build this. I'm not going to have enough gold. I'm just going to get rid of both those. I need the blacks. I need the 2 blacks here, otherwise we're in big trouble. I'm going to put 1 here and 1 here. That's what we need. Then let's see what else we have. Some things we can build. Oh my gosh, look at these. I can build, maybe I spoke too soon here. I can get one of these from a gray. Give me back one of these black discards. Maybe I could get some awesome stuff going here. If I get this gray one, that's another 5. Nope, I think we're still going to discard the black, but we're going to put this one out here because I can get another one of these. Now, how much gray am I making? 2, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's not enough, but I got a gray here. There's another one. I can discard this for a gray if I wanted to. And I think we're going to do that. And this I can discard for a blue. Oh, this is going to be perfect. All right, I'm going to take a gray. I'm going to put it here, and then I'm going to discard that for a blue, which is going to be my Pandora's box. I'm going to put Pandora's box out. That is ready to go. And that's all we're going to do. We have our cards here. We're going to see what happens. I guarantee you this is not being built, but I think everything else, I think we have a pretty good chance of building, except for my cultural production. I've kind of given up on that, which is too bad. But it would have been 15 points, would have gotten, but there's a lot of things you have to get over. And I feel bad because the first one really doesn't matter to you. And like I said, I'm more worried that I might not have enough points here. Moving into our final production round here, I have 2, 4, 5, 6 white. Let's grab our 6 white and see what we can do with it. Oh, wait, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I got 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Or gray, I guess you could say white or gray. Because of that, I'm going to get a financier. I'll place him right here. And let's place our gray cubes out here. I'm going to put 1, 2, 3 here. That'll be fun. Then I'm going to put 1, 2 here and 1, 2 here. Perfect. Now this is going to mean I don't make a blue. Do I really want that? Oh no, I think I might have just made a big mistake. I do get a Chrysalium. I forgot about that from this right here. I don't think I got anything else. No, I think I got my financier. Maybe I didn't. I don't remember. This is made. I'm going to gain this, which means I do get one of these. We'll see if this is going to pay off. This is probably going to be Bad News City. We'll see what happens here. This also is made, so I'm going to gain another military person. Put that right there. Okay, that is done. Now I've got a yellow cube in here. Perfect over there. We'll move to black. I'm only making 1 black cube, and that's okay. It's going to go right here. Perfect, just like I wanted. Now we have to make green, and I make 1, 2, 3, 4 green. -1 is 3 green cubes. So we're going to grab 3 green ones out of here. I'm going to place 1, 2, and the third one's going to go here into the recycling area, and that's fine. I'm going to discard, I'm going to make this, which is going to give me a Chrysalium. Yep, and I'm going to make this, which is also going to give me a Chrysalium. So we now are getting, but that's not going to be until the production phase. So those two, I won't get them right away. They would be, if they appear here, I get them right away. This is something I'm making, but that's okay because I can still use them before the end of the game when I have to try to score things. All right, we're done with the green. Let's move into yellow. Yellow, I get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 yellow cubes. Oh my gosh, this is the part of the game I think is just absolutely fun. You're just seeing your cards come alive here. Remember all those cards we had out here and I wasn't sure if I can make them? I think we might be doing pretty good. 2, 4, 6, 7, 8. Let's see what we can do with these now. I want to put 2 here in Valhalla because I want to make that. We want to make both of these just for the points and for the Chrysalium here. And then we have 4 left. And I think the 4 we want is the high security prison. So we're going to put 4 on there. And we also have to spend a financier to do that, but I'm going to gain a financier back because I made more than 5 gold cubes. This one has been created. It's going to go over here. This one has been created. It's going to go over here. I know I've got this huge mountain of cards. I apologize. All right. And this one is also created. It's going to go here, and I'm going to gain a Chrysalium for this one because it's in that area there. So gain a Chrysalium. We now have 2 Chrysaliums. We got a bunch of cubes we got to put back in. We'll just put them down here. And now we have 2 cards left that we have to try to make. And now we're going to go to blue. Blue, I make 2. So I get 2 blue, but I have to lose 1, so I make 1 blue cube. I don't think we're going to be able to make this. This is going to be super, 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 super sad that I don't make this card. Oh, and it's probably because of this. If I miss it by 1 blue, I'm going to be super, super sad. Okay, we're going to be able to go to here, which means we're going to gain 2 of this. So moving up, I'm going to go 1, and then it's going to be 2 back down to here. I'm going to gain 1 of these and 1 of these tokens right here. Next, we're going to make our 2 military people right here, and we're going to make 1, 2 Chrysalium from our places. And yeah, we're going to miss it by, I think, 1 cube. That leaves me with 4 Chrysalium. And yep, I missed it by 1 because I built that. Oh my gosh. If I was, maybe if I was thinking and not recording as fast as I was going there, I might have actually made it. 1, 2, 3. Did I get that Chrysalium? I can't remember. Oh well. Oh well. Oh well. That's the way it goes. I was only able to get this onto there. I'm missing it by 1. Now we're going to score everything and see how we did. The first thing we do is we start off with straight victory points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We got 6 of them. That's not the best. I'd have liked more. The next thing we're going to check is anything that gives us points that have to do with the actual numbers of these. So for example, this one right here, if it was just I get 5 points for every white card, that would be what goes in here. But since this is a double multiplier, that's going to be in a different location. We actually have 0 of these, 0 of these, 0 of these, 0 of these, and 0 of those. We don't actually have a card that scores any of that. Now, when it comes to our military people, though, we're going to get 1 point for each of our military people, and we do have a card that is going to give us ×1. So each of these are worth 2. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, which is pretty good. We got 16 of those. Now we have only, these are going to just count as single numbered people, because I don't have anything that gives them a multiplier. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So we're going to have 6 of those. We'll put that right here, and we'll go on to the next part. Now, sadly, there isn't a spot for this particular point total, but I got 1, and each one is worth an extra 1, so that is 2. So we're going to gain 2. The last one is going to be any of the ones that give us a double multiplier, and that is going to be this one. So we're going to get 5 points for every white card and military person we have. And this is where this is basically the road I went down for victory in this particular game. Let's see if it panned out. And if it doesn't, I'll be very upset because I could have made the Valhalla card, instead I didn't. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 of these. And I have I have 8 of these. So 8 times 5 is going to be 40 points, if I remember right. So we'll place that right here, 40 points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yep, so 40. So if we add all this up, we got, what is this, 6 plus 6 plus 6 is 18, 19, 20. So we got a 0 here. Then I'm going to carry my 2 because that's how I do math. 4, 5, 6, 7. I think I got 70 points, which is not enough. Really? Oh no, we actually lost. And there you go. That is how you learn how not to play the game, because I could have made that card, which would have gave us 6 points for every one of those. And the only thing I got from it was, I guess I did get one of the Chrysaliums from that because I got the gray, but I didn't need to make this card because I would have gotten 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I still would have gotten the 8 plus 8, which would have been 40. And instead, I could have made 6 points for every one of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That would have been another 30. So it would have been 30 here pretty much. I would have gotten 100 points if I would have made that card. But instead, I went too fast and didn't count up how many blue and chrysaliums I was going to have at the end when I was making it. Oh, what do you know? Well, now what I have to do is remember what I'm doing. We actually did win. I needed 60 or 70. I can't remember if I went with expert or no, I must have gone with expert. So we needed 70. We were able to do it. I got 70 points. So we were victorious in the first mission. Being victorious, we get to read what happens next. It says, it didn't take long for culture to take root in each empire. Little by little, paintings, cinema, television, and radio had found a place in every home. But empires were divided about what attitude to adopt toward this little corner of individual liberty. Should they let it prosper as a safety valve, or should they control it to prevent dissidence? There's two different things that could happen here. For this one is how it was going to happen if you reach the final space of the cultural progress. We didn't do that, so we're not going to get the pop culture card. What this card would do is allows me, it says here, once per game, draw a card and add it to your draft hand or development pool if you play solo. Then draft an extra card from the current draft hand development pool. You'll thus finish the round with 8 drafted cards instead of 7. That's a huge bonus compared to something like this that says if I didn't reach that space, once per game I can discard your entire draft hand or development pool if playing solo before choosing your card and redraw the same number of cards you discarded. So instead of being able to gain that extra card, I would be able to discard my whole hand, which still is a bonus, but for me, I just don't feel it's good enough. Now, if you notice this little symbol here, that means you can only do it once per game. And this card will persist until it tells you to remove it from the campaign, if it ever does. This could persist through the entire campaign. Now, since we did win, it does say the winner is going to take the famous host card. Once per scenario, during the draft phase, you can pay 1 chrysalium to reapply the power of your censorship or pop culture card again. So for the pop culture card, I think would be really good to be able to play that kind of stuff with. The censorship, I'm not so sure. Being able to discard your hand more than once might be not the end of the world, especially if you have a lot of chrysalium. At this point, we would move into the second game or second scenario, but since there's a limited number of these, I don't want to spoil anything more. I hope you understand how this game works, and I hope it's cool to see the new systems that they've been placed into this game. It's a Wonderful World. It's a bonkersly awesome game. And yes, that is a word, bonkersly awesome. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the playthrough of It's a Wonderful World with the Leisure and Decadence expansion. This is a great campaign. It's only about 5 or 6 scenarios. Now, the interesting thing is, from what I understand, you don't actually see all the scenarios depending on how the paths play out as you play it. And again, you can use this not only solo, but also in the competitive version of this game. And I have played this competitively with some friends of mine. You might know one. His name is Colin. He's a lot of fun to play games with, and it was no surprise that this was a blast to play. I have played this with a group of up to 5 players, and it runs smoothly and is super cool. There's nothing that bogs this game down. It's a great way to play this game, and I think it's an absolute blast for any player count. If you did enjoy the playthrough, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell symbol so you know when more playthroughs come out. Also, please feel free to leave anything in the comments below. I would love to hear from everyone. If you're interested in supporting the channel, you can join the Patreon. The link to that is also found in the description of this video. Those that have already joined the Patreon are found here on the screen. Thank you so much for your patronage. It does mean the world to me. Those that are part of the Patreon do get some added bonuses. One, they get to watch my playthroughs at least a day or 2 early without commercial interruptions. Also, they help decide what games we play, who we play with, and they also are going to be able to decide what we paint during the live painting episodes that I try to do about once a week. Also, every Monday, I try to do a playthrough with Colin live, so please check out the live tab for any of those wonderful playthroughs that we've done together. There you have it. It's a Wonderful World. Thanks again so much for watching, and if you're excited to see what comes next, then I need you to meet me at the table.